Isn't this the fool who lied to you and me, the American people, who said he had the goods on Trump and his connection to the Russians? And he dragged Trump's kids in front of the Intelligence Committee and on and on and on. Isn't this the guy that did that? So here's Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who in my view should be disbarred. Adam Schiff, who should have been expelled from House of Representatives. Adam Schiff, who lied all through the Russian collusion stuff, lied to the American people. Adam Schiff, who colluded with a phony whistleblower whose name or style I'm not even allowed to know. Can you believe that in a free country? I never met with him. My staff met with him. Oh, okay, Adam. And now he's running for the Senate of California, the bastard. It's unbelievable. Well, he's on MSNBC. He's all in with Chris Hayes, who's another lunatic. And they want to talk about the Manhattan DA and now the Republicans. Go.
Your colleagues in the House Republican caucus have decried this as politically motivated, as essentially a kind of retributive act, as an attempt to put their thumb on the scale of the 2024 election. Do you have any concerns about the political fallout about this, about making Donald Trump more of a martyr, about boosting his electoral chances?
I have a greater concern about letting him off, that is, not holding him accountable for potentially criminal conduct. In an ideal world, the most serious charges would have been brought first, and they would have been brought by the Justice Department. And I have, a lot of concerns about how the Justice Department has moved so slowly on those.
Come on, you got to indict him, you got to try him, and you got to get him in prison here. Let's get through this process as quickly as we can. We've gone so slowly. Now, Hunter Biden, 5 years, poor kid. Just because he was an addict and enjoyed prostitutes and was obsessed with pornography and made a fortune from the communist Chinese, the fascistic Russians, a corrupt Ukrainian company, and was feeding daddy money while he was vice president, and so forth. So that poor kid, enough. What are you going after? The American people don't want to hear about this anymore. But Trump, I'm really disappointed the Department of Justice hasn't already sentenced the man and thrown him into, Leavenworth. It's just very, very troubling to me. Go ahead.
Some charges related to his efforts to overturn the election and the violence on January 6th.
Yeah.
But I am also concerned not with as much with what's going on in New York as what's going on in the Congress now with Chairman Jim Jordan on the committee where I sit, essentially acting as defense counsel for Donald Trump, demanding discovery from the Manhattan DA's office, threatening potentially, I think implicitly, the use of subpoenas. So this is a defense counsel that can actually subpoena.
Oh, I see. Defense counsel. Wasn't Schiff one of those behind getting Donald Trump's taxes? First time in American history. A sitting president, then an ex-president. Wasn't he behind the whole setup on the Russian collusion stuff in Congress? Wasn't he behind the whole Ukrainian thing and the phone call stuff with the whistleblower in Congress? Wasn't he the fool that was tricked by a couple of comedians who were pretending to be Russians and calling and said they had information, and he was very, very interested in getting their information and getting their testimony and so forth? And isn't this the fool who lied to you and me, the American people, who said he had the goods on Trump and his connection to the Russians? And he dragged Trump's kids in front of the Intelligence Committee and on and on and on. Isn't this the guy that did that? This would be like Stalin's boy Beria complaining about a certain trial. Remember Beria? You guys know who that was? He was basically the enforcer, the hatchet man, who was responsible for carrying out and giving orders for the mass executions of Stalin's political opponents and so forth and so on. And in the end, they think he was involved in killing Stalin, as were a few of the others, because Stalin was thinking about killing them in the end. Go ahead.
From a prosecutor, this is what we've seen before of Jim Jordan, of Kevin McCarthy. That is, they step into the role of criminal defense counsel for Donald Trump. They're doing it again. And that, to me, is...
They should just roll over while you play prosecutor in the House, issuing subpoenas, like traffic tickets. It's unbelievable. One after another after another. We went through hell with this fool, and these other fools on the Democrat side. And they want the Republicans to drop every hearing involving the Bidens, every hearing involving this sort of thing, a political DA, even though it has national implications, even though this DA wants to use a federal statute where he doesn't have jurisdiction to create an underlying felony. The Republicans are supposed to all roll over and play dead. And by the way, while I'm at it, the Supreme Court opened the door to what this Manhattan DA is doing, and the Atlanta DA, and all DAs are doing. The Supreme Court voted 7-2 with John Roberts as the Chief Justice among the 7, saying that an ex-president does not have any form of immunity when it comes to these local prosecutors. And I said at the time, you just open the door wide to these kinds of outrageous, politicized pieces of litigation. You just threw the door open wide. And not just to ex-presidents, but sitting presidents, to these district attorneys. And it's funny how they react this way. You can investigate an ex-president or a Republican president till the cows come home. But when you investigate a Democrat, you don't even think about it because the people are concerned about inflation. Oh, okay. But when it comes to them, they're not concerned about inflation at all. Well, we'll keep an eye on all this, folks. No, I don't find this when people get excited and intriguing in these newsrooms. When I watch these anchors say, well, it's going to be very interesting 3, 4, 8 weeks. No, it's not. It's a nation that's unraveling. It's a nation in decline. And it's thanks to the Democrat Party that hates this country. They have unleashed all these forces.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.